Kakadosh Boker Or, I wanted to share with you a beautiful idea. In this week's Parasha Kitavo, in the introduction, we come and we say something to do with the mitzvah of Bikkurim. Bikkurim is a mitzvah which we have the first fruits, and what we do is we take these first fruits and we take them up to Eretz Israel. It says, Ubata Kohen, you're going to come to the Kohen, which is in those days, and you're going to say, right, how incredible it is. Kibati el haaretz, I came to the land which HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he swore to us. V'amarta alav, and you're going to say, what does Rashi explain? V'amarta alav, you're going to say to Hashem that you're not kafui tova. You're not an ingrate, which means that you appreciate everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give to us. So Rav Diskin comes and he says in his Sefer, Rashi had a question. What is the concept of Higati Ayom, Kivati Elad, I came to the land? You're going to come and you're going to speak about Bikurim. And all of a sudden you come and you say, like, good morning, by the way, Higati Ayom la Hashem Elokecha, Kivati, I came to the land of Israel. What does that have to do with Bikurim? So Rashi comes and he says, you're not Kafui Tova. He says, why? What's exactly coming to teach you? A person is in the land of Israel. He's got a land. The land has fruits, right? It looks natural. He says, what? I lived here. My father lived here. My grandfather lived here. And he feels, what do I have to actually really say thank you? Right? When a person becomes accustomed to certain things, so what happens is they don't appreciate it. Why? They're accustomed to it. It's normal. And then that's it. And everything finishes from there. So therefore, he comes and he says, the entire parasha reminds us of what happens on the night of the Seder. On the night of the Seder of Pesach, we come and we say, it's based upon the Mishnah of Pesachim, that we come and we pour the second cup, and then we start asking, Manishtana. Now, according to what we're mentioning, right, what happens is the father comes, we start mentioning the gnut, the negative, and we start with the positive. Right? We start with the negative, we finish with the positive. So what does that mean? We start Arami Oved Avi. Our father, right? He wanted to destroy us. We say the entire thing. And that's the way the entire Agadah is going to be built. And that's why we actually mention it during Bikurim. We say Arami Oved Avi until the entire end of the parasha. So why are we doing that? So the reason why is because when you want to do a Karata Tov, you have to start already from Avraham Avinu. That at the beginning we were Oved Avodah Zarah also. And now we became closer to Hashem. So if right now we're going to be in Eretz Israel, and we have Baruch Hashem, all the berachot, and we have everything, especially nowadays, that there's so many, look how many goyim there are around us, how many people there are around us, and we have all the berachot. We have to actually say thank you to Hashem. There was once a person that he came to his Rebbe, and he started crying. He says, Rebbe, well, what's the problem? He said, no, I have a daughter, right? He comes, he says he has a daughter. She's having problems with shidduchim. She's already older. She's an old maid. So the Rebbe comes and he says, you have a daughter? He says, yeah. He says, do you have other children that you already married off? He says, yeah. He says, there's some people that don't have children at all. He says, you have to say thank you. You have to say nishmat. You have to sing to Hashem the fact that you have a daughter and the fact that you have children. And he says, 1 second, if you have a daughter, that means that you got married. So he says, so do you know how many people they're not even zuchet that they don't get married? Or you know how many people they're not zuchet that they don't have any children? So for what? A person by nature, when they get accustomed to certain things, it becomes obvious. And therefore they stop thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What the Rebbe was trying to teach him is that at the end of the day, don't take things for granted. Thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's how the Gaon Mevilna comes and he explains an incredible Gemara. Listen to this Gemara. Whenever I mention this Gemara, a lot of people, they come and they, especially women, but listen to the Gemara. Gemara Masech Berachot, Tavchet Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, in Eretz Israel, the Ma'arava, when somebody used to come and get married, Amri La'achi, they used to tell him, Matzah or Motzeh? Did you find or did you find? What are you referring to? Matzah, did you find? Matzah Isha Matzah Tov. You found a woman. You found all the good in the world. Or, right, v'yafek ratzon Hashem, v'yafek ratzon of Hashem, Motzeh, tichtiv, u'motzeh niman mimavet et ha'isha. you found something which is even more bitter than death. That's the woman. So now everyone comes and says, what? You're coming and you're telling that either the woman is the best in the world or bitter as death. What's going on exactly? Listen to this. Why is it that a good woman, you call her matzah? Not because you eat, the matzah with an aleph. Yeah. He says, and motzeh is for the one that's not good. Says the Gaon Mivilna. The norm is that when a person has chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we come and we get used to it very, very quickly. And when a person is coming and they're suffering, right? The entire time he feels that he's suffering. So for example, you could have a person that he's with 12 children and they're jam-packed into a two-bedroom apartment, right? And the entire time he feels he's a misken, he's this, he's that. What can you do? All of a sudden, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and he's over dira, HaKadosh Baruch Hu marchiv gvulo. All of a sudden, he's got a huge place, Baruch Hashem, nice house, everything. The first 2 months, he's singing the praises of Hashem all day and all night. He says, what happens immediately afterwards? He says, after a year, he doesn't even feel. It's kilu, this is normal. This is normal. So he says, a person that has a good wife, it's matzah. Matzah means I found it. He found it in the past. At the beginning, he feels good. Baruch Hashem, he's got an incredible wife. But afterwards, matzah, it's in the past tense. But afterwards, he comes and he says, he takes it for granted. He says, but when somebody has a bad wife, ze motzeh. Why is it motzeh? The entire time, he's living it. And that's why the difference between the positive and the negative. For us, the positive, at the beginning, we say thank you. But then we become accustomed to it. The negative, every single moment, it's negative. We don't get accustomed to the negative, right? Every moment we're living it. And that's going to be a very big difference, right, between the two. A Jew has to always remember the chasadim, the chesed of Hashem from the beginning. And that's what we learn from the Pesukim of Bikkurim. Pesukim of Bikkurim means, remember when we were in Egypt. Remember when we were in Mitzrayim. Then we received Eretz Israel, and we received everything. And that's a chesed from the beginning. He got the Hayom LaHashem Elokecha. I'm going to tell you for Hashem from the beginning. Hayom. The what? Hayom, today. What am I going to say? Bati el Haaretz. We came to the land of Eretz Israel that you promised us. And we came even if it's 100,000. It doesn't matter how many years. 100 years ago, 200 years, 1,000 years. It doesn't matter. But we come and we sing the praises of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So to us, we have to do the same thing. What happens during the time of Dora Palaga and Parashat Noach? Dora Palaga, remember, during Noach, there was Dora Mabul and then Dora Palaga. Dora Mabul was one of the Mabul, that they were all wiped out because of their sins. And then after that, when they came inside, what happened is that they had what we call Dora Palaga. What exactly is the Dora Palaga? So it says over there, Vayar Hashem lirot et ha'ir. He went to see the city. Ve'et ha'migdal asher banu bnei Adam, and this tower, right, that they built. Says Rashi, Bnei Adam, Ela Bnei Mi. Bnei Adam. Whose children are they? Shema Bnei Chamurim Ugmalim. Maybe they're the children of Chamurim Ugmalim. But rather, Bnei Adam Arishon, Shekafar et Tova. He says they are the children of Adam Arishon, that they were also Kafui Tova. They were ingrates. Why? He went, when Hashem asks him, what happened? What did he say? It was a woman's fault. What's a woman's fault? Hashem gave you the woman to help you, to serve you, to be with you, to accompany you. Well, it's her fault. But you're kafui tova. And therefore he comes and he said, so that's why that caused them also, right, to their downfall during the time of the Dora Palaga, which means these are people that kafui tova, right? They were saved from the Mabul. You know how many years there was? There was 300 years from the Dora Mabul until Dora Palaga. When we come and we read in Kriyat Torah, right? It's 2 aliyot. It takes 15 minutes. You understand? 5 minutes, 10 minutes. How much is it going to take? Nothing, right? It depends if you do Mosifim or Mishe Berach or not Mishe Berach, but it's nothing. But really, by man, it was 300 years. You understand? And still, what is he saying? Kafui Tova. Why? I saved you in Dora Mabul. Which means that we come and we think, listen, it was only last night. You're not going to remember. 15 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. Here we're about 300 years ago. And still they were considered kafui tova. Hashem comes and he says, I saved you guys from the Mabul. How are you guys behaving? What are you guys doing? And that's why it's so important also, right, that we actually understand this. we have to understand that when it happens, that whether it's family members that they were saved in the Holocaust, whether it's a grandparent, whether they were saved, they have to always sing the praises of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that what? That we were saved. And because we were saved, we have to thank Hashem for everything that actually is going on. On this, the Ramban comes and he explains that which is written on Moshe Rabbeinu, that he was chevad peh uchvad lashon. Moshe Rabbeinu used to mumble, used to stutter. The Ramban comes and he says, I don't understand. He says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made so many miracles for Am Yisrael and for Moshe Rabbeinu. Couldn't he just come and pray, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, make me a nest, make me a miracle, that I could come and I could speak? He had to stutter for the rest of his life? What's going on exactly? Says the Ramban, listen to this, Nachmanadis. He comes and he says, this is Parashat Shemot, Daled Yod, he comes and he says, Moshe Rabbeinu, he became mumbling because of a miracle. What was a miracle? Everyone knows what happened, that they came and they said that he went and he took off the crown of the king. And they went and they said, this boy is going to take off, he's going to dethrone you. So what happened? Came a malach and said, nah, he's a little child, he doesn't understand what's going on. So he said, a little child, let's test him. They went and they brought this kiara, that you had money, you had gold, and you had the coals. What happened? Right? He went and he was going to take the money. And what happened was, the miracle happened, it pushed his hand, the malach pushed his hand, he took the coal and immediately put it in his mouth. Remember, children, they put everything in their mouth. The only thing they know is to eat. So that's why everything is straight to their mouth. Doesn't matter what it is, straight to the mouth. So what happened? It burnt him, and that was a miracle, because that's what saved him. Says the Ramban, because it happened of a miracle, he never wanted to take away that remembrance of the miracle. Which means, even if it means that he's going to mumble and stutter for the rest of his life, which he's an orator. He's a person that's speech. He has to come and he has to speak to the public. Aaron Cohen does it. He wants to remember the miracle. And he could have taken that away in 2 seconds. If he could come and cure and everybody in the world, he didn't want to take away in order not to forget the miracle and to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu every single second for what Hashem did for him. And that's what happened also by David HaMelech. When Goliath came to fight against Bnei Israel, right, they were very afraid of him. David HaMelech comes and he says, I'm going to fight him. Shel Melech, right? Are you going to come here? You're not. You're a young lad, right? He's an Ish Milchama. He's a guy. He's a warrior from you're a little guy. Shaul comes and he says, just like they say in Ivrit, right? You can't do nothing. What are you going to come and you're going to fight him? How are you going to do it? Says David, I'm a shepherd for your servant, right? My father, right? Do you know that came a lion and came a bear and they took a sheep? Says, they carried a sheep. What does that mean? David took the sheep, and from the skin of the sheep, he made a clothing. And he always used to wear it in order to remember the miracle that happened all the time, to thank Hashem for all the miracles that Hashem does. And in that zechut, he was certain that he's going to kill Goliath as well, which means that sometimes we come and we want to, you want a better chavruta, you want a better somebody to learn with a little bit better, or you want something, so sometimes, you get a better place or a less better place. What happens is that there's tanot. What is a tanot? Right? How many thousand, they don't even go to yeshiva. They can't even go at all, or they don't know nothing. He got the ayom. Say thank you to Hashem that we're able to do these things. Say thank you to Hashem we're able to come and learn. We're able to pray. We're able to understand. We have to say thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, that's why he comes and he says that's the connection between Parashat Bikkurim and Trumot HaMasrot in the previous Parashat Elmaleh. He says, why? Because we have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything that we have. And Amalek was a kafui tova. Just like it says over there, Vayavo Amalek, Yavo kafui tova, v'yifra miYisrael shem kafui tova. Which means, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? The tikkun, right, is, right, because basically, since Amalek was somebody that he was a kafui tova, right, that he doesn't believe in anything. So therefore he's going to come and punish us every single time that we are kafui tova. So we're going to come and just understand how important it is always to to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything that we have. That's the purpose of Bikkurim. This message is also very important for Rosh Hashanah. Why? We want to come to a new year. And we come in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu on Rosh Hashanah, and everything's open. Yeah, the books are all open. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to want to see how we act. We want to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, give us parnasah. And you know what, give us this, and give us life, and give us health, and give us... And he's going to say, okay, fine, you know what, 1 second, let me see. He didn't appreciate it. He never said thank you. Why should I give him all these things? But if you come in a person, every single 2 minutes, he's telling you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So what's going to happen? Sure, take, bechavol. I want you to have it. It's very good. And that's what's so important. So it's very important for us just to understand, right, that we should always thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the more that we thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's a mitzvah bikurim from the beginning. Go back from the beginning. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, thank you that I was born to such a family, and that you gave me everything that I needed from the beginning, and that I had incredible parents, and then brothers and sisters, and then you continue going. Continue going. Count your blessings. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give you much more for the blessings also as well. And that's what we have to internalize for Be'ezrat Hashem, for Rosh Hashanah Kippur, in order that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should always come and give us all the berachot Be'ezrat Hashem. Amen.